So we've talked a lot about different things in the multi-cloud, what goes into it. From an outsider's perspective, it could sound like a lot of pieces and parts. And is this complicating IT, or is this simplifying IT? Which way is this going?
You said it. I'm going to make one quick comment, which is it was on the signboard outside. It's the inevitable future of IT, right? The inevitable multi-cloud. I kind of chuckled when I saw that. It was going to happen, right? This is just like, there's not just one vendor in traditional IT. There's not going to be just one vendor here. And, sure, is it going to be more complex, but more complexity is job creation. So I think
you automate it.
These are things that will get, somebody's got to do the automation, right? So I think this is inevitable, and these problems may not all get solved, but they will. It's an evolution. It's an evolution.
Yeah, I liked your optimistic perspective on it. When you reflected on the sign out front, this is another one I was going to comment that maybe it's here comes your beating. It is going to make it more complicated. I mean, this is yet another domain to acquire expertise in. Yeah. And the good news is there are returns on that investment, right? The problem is, especially for companies that have been around for more than 5-6 years, is they have a lot of stuff that is not even virtualized. So they have domain investments in bare metal. They have done a lot, hopefully, with virtualization. And now the commitment to automate. So if they're good at image deployment and all that, well, that doesn't translate quite as well in the cloud space. So that's yet another and a bigger step to take to get from virtualization to cloud native. Now, there are steps along the way that, again, every time you automate something and make it self-service, that's also important. You can't just have the ticket to go ask for it, somebody else to push the button for you. But if you can get the self-service piece there, then you're beginning to get returns on those investments, right? So that's the light, and that's the hope, and the bright light at the end of the tunnel is there are returns on those investments, and letting you, and talk about job creation too, like thinking about how you structure your organization. So if you're dependent on a lot of domain-specific experts, and you have management at the top, and you have a lot of domain experts here in the middle, and then your operators, you have very few, because you know why you have very few? Because none of those, they don't have the tools to apply themselves and to make repeatable the things that the experts have. And the experts probably feel a little nervous about taking that next step up. They're not always as deep on the development side, so they may not feel strong as somebody who can automate something. And so I've seen it happen in a lot of companies. They get white knuckled on, well, no, I like my blades, I like my imaging server, I like it this way. And they're worried about being replaced in that way. So
yeah, I would add to that. I mean, look, a lot of us have been doing this a long time, and I was an IT ops guy, and there's something about the simplicity that's really appealing, but it's never worked, right? I mean, think about Enterprise Service Bus. Okay, we're going to integrate all 600 apps to make it easier and simpler to use. Well, I mean, that didn't go too well. It's still, a lot of those projects work, but they're still in flight now. So what we talk to enterprises about is your existing IT infrastructure has to be extended to support cloud. You can't just take a cloud model and drop it on top of everything you have because it'll break. And you can't, by the way, take your existing IT model and rely on those same solutions to extend quickly in an agile manner into these cloud models or modes, because you're just going to slow down and not be able to service the needs of the business. So I think, unfortunately, for IT professionals who want simplicity, they're going to be very disappointed in the next 5 years. Fortunately, for those of us who are in this industry and ecosystem to drive business value, make money, build businesses, and innovate models, it's the coolest time in the history of IT for that sort of opportunity.
And just to go back, to the original question, which is going to be, is it simple or is it complex? So there are tools out there like RightScale. RightScale has an awesome product that makes it simple to do this, but like everyone here has said, you just can't take what you guys currently have and just dump it right there and just think it's going to work. There is planning that has to go into it, but there are tools to take a complex thing and make it simple.
Yeah, or make the impossible only difficult, right? I mean, that's maybe a better way to say it, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that the commercial insight, or the takeaway that I would leave with is, cloud was inevitable. It was coming, right? But the key factor is that you move things into a network, the internet, right? And you have literally the internet, the interspace net, so interconnected networks. And the internet creates time compression. it changes distribution models, it changes economic models, creates marketplaces, and attracts capital. Right, so I think you can expect that in this whole multi-cloud thing is that, again, commercial insight for whoever's in this room, things like marketplace management, brokerage services, load balancing, things like that across all these different clouds. And I think the common theme here has been around management, automation, orchestration, things like that. It's like, how do you bring all this stuff together, weave it together? There's a lot of commercial opportunity there.
Yeah.